if you are a small business owner, you have probably heard over and over again, you need to be using ChatGPT. This is how you should be using it in your business. ChatGPT this, ChatGPT that. And let me just say, I want to recommend something else for your business. Disclaimer, ChatGPT is still amazing and better than this other tool at a lot of other things, but specifically for small business owners, this is the tool that you want to be utilizing that's going to best fulfill your AI type needs for your business. And that, my friends, is Claude. Claude is the same thing as ChatGPT. It is a LLM, which is a large language model or language learning model, which basically you utilize for generative AI. So you send in prompts and get responses back from this AI type chatbot. Both of them are from different companies. So ChatGPT is from OpenAI and Claude is from Anthropic, and they both kind of serve different needs and have different strengths and weaknesses. Now, I've already gone in and tested both of these tools, and let me just say, Claude, you are my new best friend as a small business owner. That is the AI tool that I am going to start using the most for my business. So in this video, I'm going to break down why I think Claude is a better AI tool to use over ChatGPT for small business owners. I'll also be showing the side-by-side responses from ChatGPT and Claude so you can see for yourself which response you prefer more for your small business. Before we hop into that, if you don't know me, my name is Haley. I am a website designer and tech expert for small business owners, and I love creating content to help you learn more about tech, about automating your business, about AI, and more. So if you're interested in watching more, I would love to have you subscribe and follow along, and let's just hop right into the video. Now, before we hop in, I do want to note AI is constantly changing. So this video is being recorded where we are comparing the free versions of ChatGPT 4.0 and Claude 2. So just keep that in mind. We're doing free versions because I want this to be accessible to everyone. Of course, each of these LLMs also have paid versions that give you even better results and responses. So definitely take this with a grain of salt. Point number one. Claude is better at brainstorming quickly and coming up with a wider range of ideas for you to choose from. So let's hop in and show you the difference between these two models. The prompt I inputted was asking about creating some other offers for a wedding and couples photographer. So here I told each LLM they're an expert at small business coaching and content creation, and gave them a little bit of information about my business, how I'm looking to increase my income potential, and asking for other offers that I can provide. Now let's first look at ChatGPT's response. So ChatGPT, they're giving some really long responses, kind of explaining different offer ideas. We have mini sessions and seasonal packages, brand photography packages, photography photoshops, photo editing services, adventure elopement packages, and client experience add-ons. So a lot of these, when I first looking at it, as someone who is familiar with the photography world, these are pretty generally normal things that you would see on a blog post. They're really generic ideas. They're not super specific or unique. I don't really have any ideas of how I can make this and really twist it and have a unique edge to it as a business owner. It really is just pretty general and generic when I'm looking at it. The one nice thing is that ChatGPT does expand upon each of the ideas and why it's a good idea. I don't personally love that because I don't really care about the why necessarily when I'm just coming up with ideas of why this would be a good idea. I just am trying to generate thoughts and brainstorming. So it definitely depends on how you like to brainstorm for your business. Coming over to Claude, their ideas are actually sectioned out. So we have educational offerings. These include workshops, tutorials, mentorship programs, and each of them have a different focus. So we have film photography workshops for aspiring photographers. So again, we have this specific audience, we have this specific topic, we have preset and editing tutorials that help others achieve your signature film-like style. So again, the purpose of the tutorial and what you're trying to achieve with it. So I really love it's a fully thought out idea versus we have, on ChatGPT, like seasonal mini shoots. I mean, pretty basic and generic. Then down here we have product extensions again from Claude and expanding more on what those could look like specifically. specialized sessions, which is including some of these ideas, but expanding on them even more and giving more topics, digital products, partnerships, and collaborations. So you can see here, Claude is giving a lot of different ideas and context and really expanding across a lot of different categories to help you really nail down and just start brainstorming and thinking of different ideas. I love that Claude provides this variety of ideas at first and is not expanding on them because, again, when you're in this brainstorming area, you really just want to be getting out as many ideas and thoughts as you can and just iterating on them. And as you start having ideas that sound more interesting, at that point, that's when you want to start diving deeper into the why, into the makeup of it, etc. So as you can see, ChatGPT is pretty good at providing ideas, but it is really generic and kind of pulling from ideas that are very mainstream, whereas Claude is really outlining a range of different thoughts, helping you spitball and kind of go back and forth with it instead of just trying to expand so much on specific ideas. When you're in the state of trying to generate business ideas, trying to generate offers, you don't want anything really long-winded or vague. You really want just to spitball ideas until you land on one that starts feeling right, and from there you can start processing and uncovering more of what you want behind that idea or offer. Point number 2, Claude is so much better at sharing concisely. This is definitely a preference of mine, but I think it's really important when you are working with AI and trying to, generate ideas, generate thoughts for content, asking questions, etc. It's really important for the LLM to be concise because a lot of times you're looking for quick answers, you're in the middle of tasks, you're trying to take information and then expand upon it yourself. So when the AI is long-winded, it's just taking more time for you to filter through and find information that you want. ChatGPT tends to be a little bit more long-winded and expansive, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you enjoy having that type of context, but I found that Claude provides just enough context while also helping you get in the information quickly and also not having it be super long-winded. So let's check it out in the prompt. So this point is pretty straightforward, and I feel like we've already kind of covered it in the last video, but going back to the same prompt and comparing, as you can see, ChatGPT is going on and expanding and adding a lot of context, which, is up to your personal preference. But what I like is Claude is very specific and very concise and also very unique. So you're getting very, personalized ideas, you're getting really concise information, and you're not having to read a lot, which I think is really important when you're using these type of chat, bots or systems, because you want to be, again, just using this as kind of like a tool or an assistant and then taking it from there and expanding on your own. So we don't want to spend a ton of time trying to digest information from these LLMs, unless you're looking for something that is really more expansive. Point number 3. And I want to give a disclaimer with this one. I do not think personally that we should use generative AI to create content, whether it's social media content, blog posts, etc., from scratch. I think that AI should be used to help generate ideas, maybe help you with your language, coming up with different catchphrases or ways to word things, but I don't think we should be copying and pasting exactly from generative AI. With that being said, I think Claude is so much better at helping you generate ideas for social media, captions, and more. Claude tends to be a little bit more expressive in their language, a little bit more casual, and that really is important when you are showing up in social media, sending out emails, etc. You want to have a realistic tone. ChatGPT tends to be a little bit more formal, so I lean more towards using ChatGPT, for instance, if you're wanting to write a formal email or a LinkedIn post or something. ChatGPT helps you stay really formal and professional in how you're presenting information. Let's go ahead and see that all in action now. Okay, so for this, I gave Claude and ChatGPT an offer that I would be interested as a photographer to create, and I asked them to create a 3-day Instagram promotional post plan, so including content, ideas, and captions, and I gave them a caption that they could understand my brand voice and flow of captions that I wanted to capture. Now, again, I don't believe in copy and pasting these, but this is really helpful to kind of understand how should I structure this, what are different phrases and words that I can utilize, etc. So ChatGPT and Claude actually broke these down the same way. We have a sneak peek and teaser on both, a value focused one on both, and then a reveal and call to action for the final post. So they're following a similar structure, but going into the caption itself, they are very, very different. We're looking at ChatGPT. ChatGPT keeps things very kind of formal. The language they use is a little kind of cliche and doesn't really feel like something someone would actually say. For instance, going into this next year with a full heart and big dreams. Like I don't know if I would ever actually say that as someone, so it just feels like a little bit like robotic. Now, looking over in the intro of Claude, we have y'all. Now, I wouldn't use all y'all. Again, this is just Claude's interpretation of my caption. And again, we're not using this to copy and paste. But it says, my heart is so full after spending the evening with this person, talking all things photography and business. That sounds a little bit more like something I would actually say. I would, make this so full and use those kind of phrases in my natural language. So it feels a little bit more normal. Okay, so let's scroll down to the next captions. So these are the value captions. So looking over to ChatGPT, when it's talking about the value behind the offer, it's really focusing on myself and my vision. So I'm talking about, for long, I've dreamed about creating a space for photographers to step away from the hustle, to learn from each other and get inspired by the beauty around us. And guess what? That dream is becoming a reality. Imagine spending a few days diving deep into the business side of photography, etc. If you ever felt called to connect with other photographers. So this is really, really kind of good, but I feel like it's not really generating any type of emotion or any type of pull or curiosity. It just sounds like it's saying, hey, this offer is something that I'm excited about. Here are some vague things about it that you're going to encounter. And there's no really kind of outcome or problem that I am addressing as someone who's providing a solution for you, which is really important when you're talking about your offers, is you want to make your customers feel heard and feel like they have a problem that you can actually solve. So going over to Claude, what I love is that Claude instantly jumps into the best marketing flow ever, creating empathy, understanding the problem, and addressing it with a potential solution. So first, Claude says, I see so many talented photographers in Colorado struggling with the same things I did. So again, creating that empathy of, hey, I have been through a lot of hard things, and then breaking down exactly what those issues are that you're going to address in your solution, trying to nail the film edit, pricing issues, imposter syndrome, and not making enough money. So again, we are directly calling out to our customers, here are the problems that you have, which is so key in marketing. And then leading into, doesn't have to be this way. I'm sharing and kind of hinting towards, hey, the solution is coming tomorrow. So you're generating that curiosity. So comparing these two captions, they are really great. But when you are really wanting to understand marketing, how to better make your captions flow to sell better to your customers or connect better to your customers, I lean a lot more towards Claude because they're really utilizing one, better language, and two, better marketing strategy to connect with your customers. And let's move to point number 4. Claude is so much better at capturing your personality and your essence through their responses. So let's check it out in action. Okay, so at this point, first looking at these captions, we can see already that ChatGPT is a little bit more, like I outlined before, a little bit more formal, not really utilizing modern language, whereas Claude is using really like exciting language that will capture someone's attention. Like, stop scrolling really quick, something that's been heavy on my heart. Like, these are things that people say all the time. I'm literally shaking with excitement. Drop a heart if you're curious. So really, it is utilizing a lot of language that is natural to see on social media posts. But diving in a little bit deeper, I scrolled down and I asked, can you describe the brand tone, voice, and personality used in the captions? Because I wanted to see what they were grabbing from these captions and how they could describe that for my business, and if they were really capturing, as a photographer, how I wanted to come across. So with ChatGPT, they said the tone was warm and encouraging, reflective and motivational. The voice was authentic and heartfelt, relatable and down to earth. Personality was passionate and creative, supportive and inspiring, optimistic and visionary. So again, those are really, really great words. A good description and a good overview. It is a little bit general and it doesn't really give me any kind of help with what to do with that information. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, you've kind of captured a general idea of what I sound like. Going over to Claude. So first, they've split it out by tone and personality. What I really like is they have warm and relatable, faith-centered, emotionally open, casually professional, encouraging and supportive. But then it also describes a little bit more in depth, like what they mean by it, in a way that is like normal talking language. So like emotionally open, shares genuine feelings, like hands are literally shaking, heart is so full. If we're going over and comparing that to, authentic and heartfelt for voice over here, I think that's kind of the closest correlation in ChatGPT. We're talking about the voice sounds personal and sincere, as if speaking directly to each follower. It reflects genuine passion for photography and a desire to foster community and growth. That's like really, really hard to build from. As someone who wants to be utilizing natural language, when I say hands are literally shaking, like that just feels more like me. This sounds a little bit too formal, a little bit too corporate, and a little bit too vague, and I don't know what to do with this information. But this is showing me examples of like, this is how your voice actually comes out in these phrases, in the way you're speaking, etc. Writing style. So this is another thing that Claude outlines. I love how they're talking about conversational elements, authenticity markers. So it's actually talking about here the ways that you're showing up authentically, like actual examples. Here's also the structure of how you speak. So using emojis, short paragraphs, bullet points, capital letters for emphasis. I mean, it is really, really pulling out, again, the specifics of my voice and the actual elements that are creating my voice and tone and personality. ChatGPT is just kind of giving an overall general summary of like what it sounds like. Again, going down, we have key phrases and patterns. So these are phrases that Claude has come up with that I can utilize in my speech. Again, phrases are so important when you're talking on social media to just build connection, sound more authentic, and also just build consistency. And I love that Claude is pointing that out. And then we have engagement style. So again, Claude is giving so much context behind your brand voice and tone and personality and capturing so much and really diving deeply without expanding too long. Whereas ChatGPT, again, is staying a little bit more generic, a little bit more formal, and really not giving you anything that you can move on and use in your actual business. And point number 5, which is my favorite point of all, Claude is so good at helping you use it. Now, what do I mean by this? So whenever you're sending a prompt into AI, it'll send you a response, and usually at the end it will ask, you know, do you want me to elaborate more, etc. ChatGPT does this when you send in a prompt. It says, you know, can I elaborate more? Do you want more information maybe on this? Now Claude, on the other hand, it asks you this, but it goes a step further and actually suggests different ideas to help you understand how to further prompt and have a conversation with it to reach the results that you're looking for. But enough talking about it, let's actually see it happen. For this prompt, I asked ChatGPT and Claude to outline the workshop retreat offer idea that both of them gave me. And so both of them created this outline, and we're gonna look at the end at what they said. So after the entire outline, ChatGPT said, would you like to explore specifics on the retreat content, pricing structure, or marketing approach? So again, it's giving a little bit of context, a couple ideas of maybe what it could expand upon throughout all of this. Again, it's just kind of summarizing the ideas that it shared and asking if I want to expand upon it. Now, what I like about Claude is it's so good at asking you specifically and giving you specific examples of how to continue chatting with it. So it asks the same thing, would you like me to elaborate on any of these areas or develop a detailed plan for a specific aspect? And then it goes, for example, I could help you, 1, create a detailed curriculum online. I don't even know if I would have thought of to ask Claude something like that. I maybe would have asked, like, what should I talk about? And it would have taken a few prompts to really get to this. Develop pricing tiers and packages. Now, ChatGPT did say, ask, pricing structure, but again, that's really vague. Claude is going so specific of like, here's how we can break it down. Design a 90-day marketing plan. In ChatGPT, it's just a marketing approach. And if you're not used to prompting with these, you might just say, yeah, give me a marketing approach. And then you read it and you're like, oh, I actually don't want that kind of approach. I want it to be like a specific timeline or on a specific platform. And so again, Claude is really good at just giving you specific examples of how to better prompt with it, how to be better specific with it, so you get better responses back and don't have to go back and forth so much with it. And that's it. In my research, I also discovered that Claude is very good at taking lots of information and summarizing it really well and being able to digest information. So when you're utilizing things like Claude, you can send in things like PDFs, brand strategy docs, really long content, etc. And it's very good at filtering through that and giving you a response. If you're utilizing ChatGPT, researchers actually recommend that you send smaller tidbits and ask for smaller responses back, because ChatGPT is good about getting really specific about smaller items in context. If you're giving it something really large, like a long PDF or a really long paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, ChatGPT might get a little confused, leave out a little bit of context, and end up keeping things very vague. I do want to say, after all of this, I know some of you are watching this and say, well, I prefer ChatGPT, and let me just say, utilizing an LLM is personal to everyone. I think that we just hear about ChatGPT a lot, and I think it's important to try out these other tools and figure out which ones work best for ourselves and our businesses. If you're interested in trying out Claude, it is totally free. I left a link down below where you can just go in and create your own account and start playing around with it. With that being said, I hope I have helped you learn a little bit more about LLMs and help you kind of expand your knowledge in this AI world and figure out what is going to work best for you. Lastly, I would love to ask if you have any questions about AI automations or would like to see anything specific on this channel surrounding those or other tech tools for small business owners. Please drop a comment below, because I would love to provide whatever content is going to help you in your small business. And with all of that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching.